Alright, we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Alright, we are going to get this show going, everybody. Alright, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Let me grab my baseball hat really quick. It's kind of crazy. So, give me a second. There we go. Alright, friends. So, welcome, everybody. We're going to do a live stream today, kind of impromptu today. So, we're going to be building another Alps build today. I've had a lot of fun Alps builds coming in lately. This is another personal build for my personal collection, a board I've had for a while. I have been sitting on it, just kind of waiting for the perfect opportunity to build it. So this particular build right here is a Geon Works Frog TKL. This is just their standard TKL. It's a wing keyless and it's an F13. But it's in this kind of cookies and cream colorway, which is really nice. So it has beige and it has little kind of spots, little dots of like black on it. So you have to the camera doesn't really do a good job, but it has little black dots all throughout the coating, which looks really, really nice. So it's a really nice coating. So I want to go over the parts we're going to do. So this is kind of a companion build to my Frog 8K TKL that I built the other day. So so I kind of have both kind of mainline Frog TKLs in the collection, which is really kind of cool. So this is my 8K. So we're going to kind of take some inspiration, some design cues from this particular board and kind of put it on this. We're going to go step caps lock. We're going to go big ass enter on this. And of course we'll have our wing keyless, but the little difference we will be F13, but we're having a kind of a standard home cluster and standard arrow cluster, whereas the 8K, we decided to put a numpad. Which is really cool. So going over a parts list and kind of selection for this particular build. My camera is a little blurry right now. Plate is made out of aluminum that was designed by Karolus over at Carolingian.com, and the plate was cut by and manufactured by Tom over at Height Keyboards up in Canada. For PCB, we're going with a TKL Alps PCB that was designed by Alec Tardy and Karolus, which is really cool. So this is going to kind of be the heart of our build. So a really cool PCB. This is Karolus's production TKL PCB. So it's not in the cool black like we put in the Frog, which is cool. So we're also going to be using tactile keycaps. So we're going to be using Alps pattern stabilizers. So those are plate mount. And then the tie house set we're going to be using is kind of tie house other kind of mainline offering that they have. Which is going to be their vintage gray and white. So this is a really, really nice kind of keycap set. Really takes a lot of inspiration from some of the more classic Alps sets. So this is going to be a really, really nice keycap set, and I cannot wait to kind of have matching tie house sets on both of my Frog TKLs. So that's a really, really nice keycap set. We'll put that to the side. And then switches, what we're going to be doing is this one got the Ivory dampened tactile Alps. So we're going to go with the other type of tactile Alps and put it in this other Frog, which are going to be white dampened tactile switches, which are going to be really cool. It's going to be give it a really nice sound. Alps in general are a very loud switch. They are not quiet. These were the two Ivory Alps and white Ivory Alps were kind of Alps' attempt to make their switches a little bit quieter. They're still loud. They're not like these are not going to be like quiet like the silent switches from like a lot of the Cherry MX switches, but they're a lot quieter than like your blue Alps or like your orange or your brown Alps. So these are a little bit quieter, but they still have a really nice feel and they really have a really nice sound. So I really enjoy them, and a lot of people kind of sleep and don't really ever consider the two dampened versions of Alps, but I think they're two really good switches. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to put the 8K Frog to the side. We're going to put that out of the way, but we're going to disassemble the case so we can get access to our plate. So this is so the Frog TKL is probably one of my all-time favorite boards. I mean, I have two of them. I mean, I have an 8K Frog and I have a standard TKL Frog. So they're two really good TKL options. So ones that I really kind of enjoy. So there we go. So let's grab my screw bits and let's get those out. Perfect. So let's get this one going. Let's get my driver bits out, and let's get this board disassembled. So yeah, Geon boards, great. Most of my Alps collection are going to be based around Geon boards. I am just a fan of Geon, but Geon boards I think make really great candidates for Alps. Because one thing nice with Geon, whether it's his TKLs or even his 60%, they use again, standardized PCBs. So Geon TKLs use H87 or H88 pattern PCBs, which a wide variety of PCB makers make that pattern, which is really nice. So that's a standard. So Geon doesn't use, it really isn't using customized or custom-made PCBs for his boards, which is really nice. And then also for his 60%, he uses H60 pattern PCBs for those boards. So so a lot of the Alps PCBs, if you're going to do an Alps build, you're really going to want to base it around either a TKL or a 60% board. That's just the easiest for keycap compatibility. So that makes it really, really nice being able to utilize Geon boards. So I always tell people, if you're going to build an Alps board, my honest recommendation is go with it. If you're going to do a TKL, for sure go with the Geon. TKL, like a Frog, is perfect, or like an F18X if you want to go a little more high end. But I think they make really, really great candidates for Alps, which is nice. Another thing that's nice about too, you can get Geon boards direct from Geon, bare bones. So you don't have to get them. You can just get the case and not get like the Cherry MX plate and PCB. So if you're going to do an Alps build in a Geon board, you're probably going to throw the MX assembly to the side. So it's really kind of nice being able to utilize just what you need of the kit, which is really nice. So we're going to get this one going. Awesome, friends. Going on today. So we're going to be on here for a little bit. So let me just get these out of here. Perfect. Should be real. There we go. Cool. Got my tadpoles out. Perfect. We're going to put all these little parts to the side because we're not going to use those. Perfect. Alright, so here is our plate. This plate's really cool because this was designed by Karolus. One thing I like about his Frog TKL plate, Karolus has his crest here and his logo, which is really nice. So that's something I just really like. It sucks though because it's covered up by the case. When it's in, you don't really see it, but when you take the plate out, it's a really nice little personal touch. Huh. God, it's like 10:30 here in California. What the heck, man? So, alright everybody, so we're going to pull out and start off with our stabilized keycaps. So let me pull these puppies out. Let me just get all our stabilizer parts out. There we go. And let's get our stabilizer wire clip holders in first. That's always my first part I do when I do stabilizers. So the way I like to do Alps, I like to do my stabilized keycaps first. It just makes life a little bit easier because Alps stabilizers are kind of a pain in the butt. So if I can have everything off the plate and PCB so it makes installing the stabilizer easier, I am all about that. So that is what we're going to do. So we're just doing that. Let's get these in and let's get these clips installed. So one thing about Alps, original Alps pattern stabilizers, when you're doing Alps, your options, you really can have three options for keycaps. You have original Alps keycaps, which would have to be harvested from a donor board, or tactile, or DCS. So I have all three types of Alps keycaps. Now, original pattern keycaps and tactile keycaps are going to use original Alps pattern stabilizers. So those are going to be plate mount stabilizers, and they're kind of their own thing. But there's also the third option, which is DCS keycaps. DCS keycaps are cool. They're made by Signature Plastics, so they use kind of the DCS kind of manufacturing method and profile. But what's nice about those is they use Cherry MX stabilizers, which is really nice. So DCS are really great options. The only problem with DCS, the sets haven't been made in a few years. The only set that's easily available is going to be DCS 9009, which is kind of a classic, iconic set. But that one, as of the moment of this live stream, that set is in stock, and you can pretty easily get it. But the other 5 DCS sets are pretty hard to find. And if you do find them, you are going to be paying a premium for those particular sets. So that is just something to be aware of when you're kind of looking at kind of original. Sorry, when you're looking at DCS keycaps. Sorry, I gotta get something out of my parts drawer. I'm missing. I need one more clip out of my parts bin. So let me grab a clip. Where the heck are you? There you are. Let me get my clips. There we go. So that is just something to kind of be aware of and be mindful of. So DCS sets, DCS 9009 is going to run you about $150 from I think the one vendor who still has some of the sets. So yeah, DCS. I have 4 of the 6 DCS sets. I have DCS White on Black. I have DCS Reaper. I have DCS Alpine Winter, and I have DCS 9009. The 2 I'm missing are going to be DCS Yuri and DCS Pingmaster. Those are so freaking hard to find, and I know some people who have those sets, but they don't want to sell them. Especially like Pingmaster, which I think is the coolest of the DCS Alps sets. I mean, good luck finding that set. I really wish I could. That's a set I really would love to have, a DCS Pingmaster, because it's such a beautiful set, but it's not happening. So there we go. We got our clips installed, which is really nice. So we're going to put in our switches. So we're going to have 5 stabilized keycaps. We're going to have 5 switches to start us off. So let me, actually, before we do that, I forgot. We're going stepped caps lock, so I got to remove this blocker right here. So give me a second. Let me grab my pliers. And let me get my file out too. We got to file that down. Forgot a step. Man, here we are today. So it's all good, but yeah. So alright, so pulling that part out, we got to do a little bit of filing down. So one thing about Alps too that I just tell people, especially if you're gonna, like, I offer an Alps building commissioned Alps build service. Every Alps build is basically, you're basically hand fitting a keyboard. You're building it, like everything is like one of one with Alps. There's a lot of just like custom fitting you got to do with them. So every Alps build is kind of unique and kind of different. So that's just the thing with Alps. They're very much their own pattern, their own thing. So there we go. Just perfect. That side filed down, and then we're gonna do this far side right here. So right, there we go. All right, now we got our, now we can do step caps lock, so that's perfect. So, yeah, very much hand fitted. So there we go. So we got that nice open cutout now for our caps lock, so that's perfect. So everything looks good. So let's put our switches in, just kind of hold stuff in place, and then we're gonna start lubing and installing our stabilized key. Yep, there you go. I'm a klutz today, everybody. So let's get them going. So there we go. Oh, those are going to be great. Perfect. All right, let's push this down into the foam just to hold everything down, and there we go. Oh, it's going to sound so nice once we get it. Once we get this board really going. So perfect. Let me get my Let me go to my tie-how box and let's get the their actual stabilized keycaps out. So we're going big ass enter. We're gonna go. We got to get our shifts out. So we're going full right shift on this one, and then we got to get our 7U space bar. And we'll deal with step cap, which step caps lock we're gonna use later. Let's get our big boy space bar out. I think we're good. Awesome. Cool. Let's close that up. Perfect. Put our tie-how away for right now. Perfect. All right. Here's our keycaps. So first things first, I want to install the clips that go on the bottom of these. So these clips are going to hold the wire to the actual keycap. So I'm going to install those clips there. Perfect. Let's get our big ass enter. Perfect. And also, that is the name of, that's the official name of this keycap, the big ass enter, which I think is hilarious. So it is very literal. It is a big ass enter. So it's pretty great. Oops, put that clip the wrong way. Oops, let's grab. Let's adjust that. There we go. So we're going to get those stabilized keycaps in. So, perfect. So we got those, got our shifts. Then let's put our big boy one right here. There we go. All right, we got our clips on there. Let's get our wires. So we got our whole wire set we're going to use. Perfect. So, good times. All right, let's put our switches over to the side. And let's get our 205G0 out. And let's start lubing these puppies and start putting these keycaps on. So we're going to start off with our little shift right here. So, going pretty good today, everybody. So, pretty good. So, let's lube these clips. So, again, we're just like cherry mix stabilizers. We lube these just because we don't want them to rattle. And these Alps pattern stabilizers, they rattle horribly if you don't lube them properly. That's just kind of the quirk of Alps pattern stabilizers. They rattle terribly. So, especially when I get boards like in that I need to harvest for parts, or like a couple board, like the board I restored a couple weeks ago. Yeah, before those stabilizers were either harvested or restored, they were horribly rattly. So we just want to make sure everything has a good layer of lube on them to make life a little bit easier. There we go. All right, there we go. Just putting that lube in there. Cool. Cool. All right, start putting in some wires. Cool. Let's put these in. Cool. Got that one lubed up. Perfect. All right, let's add a little bit of lube on the wires up here. Cool. That wire is lubed up. Welcome, friends. Again, those of you who've tuned in, thank you. Thank you. It's a fun time. So, we're just building a Geon Works Frog TKL today. So, built a Frog TKL 8K the other day, but this is just a standard Frog TKL. So, I mean, if you're gonna build it, if you want to build a TKL for Alps, the Frog is probably what I recommend people build. Or if you want to do a commission for me, like that's gonna be probably my #1 recommendation. I think it's a good overall board for not a lot of money. I think if you want to go something fancier, I mean, we definitely have fancier options like an F18X or what have you. But I think overall, Frog makes a fantastic candidate for Alps. So let's get that clip in. Give me a second, friends, and there we go. Let me just get that one clipped in. Perfect. That one's in. So we got our left shift in there. Let's do our backspace next. All right, let's put that up. Oops. second. So we're just making sure those are nice and lubed. Awesome. Let's put a good little layer of lube right here. Perfect. Awesome. We'll get that one lubed up. Let's get these clips on the bottom of the keycap lubed in. All right, so let's put our backspace on. All right. Cool, that one's good, that one's good. Cool. So we got these two keys looking good. All right, we're gonna do our big ass enter next. So again, I love that that's the official name of it. It's a big ass enter. That is like one of the greatest names ever. Oh god dang it. Give me a second. All right, cool. Yeah, so we got a good time, everybody. So we're getting that one in. Everything is looking good. Big ass enter is coming along. Yeah, we've had a few boards get big ass enters in the Alps collection, so it's been a really, really fun time. Okay. Alright, cool. Let's get this one in. This one's always a little finicky, so give me a second. Bear with me, friends. There we go. And boom. Let's get that one in. Perfect. Look at that big ass enter. Just want to check something. Give me a second, folks. There we go. Yeah, we're good. Alright, big ass enter. Big ass enter is good, folks. Look at that. Pretty sick. Alright, let's do our right shift. That's another one of our big keys. And then the big boy, the space bar. It's always a fun key to do. That's the one that's kind of the biggest. Space bars are probably the biggest pain in the ass in Alps, but we'll get it. Cool. Alright, let's just get this one clipped in. Just getting them all clipped in. Let's get the clips under the keycap first. Okay, got that clip. Let's just get these wires done. Okay, let me just cool. Awesome. All right, hold up. This is bothering me. I'm gonna put these clips in the outer one. I think they're gonna fit in the outer one. So hold up, friends. Give me a second. And I'm making an adjustment to my right shift. Hold up. Alright, so I think we're going to be able to do that. Give me a second, friends. We're just going to make a couple of adjustments here. There we go. So we do crap live on stream, so you get to see all the mistakes. I know, isn't it wonderful? Everybody gets to see all my flubs. I put the clips in the wrong spot. I'd rather fix the mistake now while it's easy and the board's disassembled than deal with it when the board's fully assembled. So let's just make it easier now. Give me a second. There we go. That's a lot better. Cool. All right. Now we can go on to the big one, which is our space bar. That's always the finicky one. Cool. Awesome. Got that going. Perfect. That one. Let's get this wire lubed up. And then we should be good to solder these puppies in. All right, let's get this clipped in. Just doing some adjustments on the stabilizers. Cool. Just making sure. I think we're done. Let's just make sure. All right, let's put that away. Give me a second. Cool. Perfect. All right, we're good. All right, let's get our PCB out, and we'll show the PCB off a little bit. Perfect. So here is our Alps PCB. So really, really good. It's a nice white PCB. One thing that's nice about this, it's a 1.2 millimeter PCB. So we're not using MX stabilizers on this, so it doesn't really matter, but it supports a ton of layouts. Like, I'd be here a while discussing all the different layouts this PCB supports, but it's a really, really good PCB. Karolus and Alec Tardy did a really good job designing this PCB and giving it as much compatibility as possible. So we're gonna pull this assembly out, and let's line up our holes. Just make sure everything lines up. Awesome. So let's get that all lined up, everybody. Alright, let me fire up the soldering iron, get my temperature dialed in. Let's get my vent, let's get my soldering wick going. Alright, soldering iron's heating up. Let's get these installed. So, soldering iron is heating up. Cleaning off the tip from our last soldering session. Perfect. Give me a second, friends. We want to make sure everything is lined up correctly. Perfect. Now, let me just see if that alignment all looks good. So let me just double check everything. Perfect. Solder these other points in. Okay, let's do this backspace really quick. Perfect. Awesome. Just soldering this puppy in. Perfect. Awesome. Let's put our little vent away, soldering stuff to the side. So, got our stabilized keycaps put it on and installed, friends. So that's really nice. Perfect. Look at that. So, perfect. Let's hear how this sound. Sorry, let's do a little test. Oh, I got that Pro Gamer IG. What's up, Niku? All right, let's get this going. So we're just on here, doing an impromptu stream today. So I want to go into Vial, make sure we want to make sure this is programmed to H88. So I'm just going into Vial really quick. I know this. I just want to make sure we're not programmed correctly. Programming this board correctly. Give me a second. I'm going to go layout really quick. Going to big ass enter on this puppy. Standard Tangson. Perfect. Actually, give me a second. Let's see something. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Standard. Alright, we're good. Just making sure we're programmed correctly. Just gotta program this board correctly. Because it's a F13. Okay. F13. Sorry, just making sure everything is programmed correctly. Control, right control, perfect. All right, we are programmed correctly. Awesome. All right, we are good. Everything is saved. So we're going to X out of Vial. Oh, nice, Nick. I'm jealous you're building your H2H, my man. I got an aluminum H2H. So I'm waiting on Dynacap for mine. So it's just sitting there. So it's all good. So, all right. So, awesome, friends. So we're good there. So let's just install some of our other keys just to get us going. I need to double check my caps lock. So let me get my... I have a couple caps lock options on this one, so let me get my caps locks and figure out which one I'm going with. I always forget on these tie house sets. So let's see. Let me see. And there we go. We're going to do that caps lock. Perfect. Awesome. Let me put that caps lock back. Yeah, decisions. Oh, yeah, dude. I think I'm going for mine. I think I'm doing stainless steel on my H2H. That's what I selected. So I like stainless steel plates. I would have done brass, which is cool, but like, I'm good with stainless steel. So many good decisions, my man. So I feel you. All right, let's get those. Let's get these other keycaps. These other switches in, and then we'll start soldering these ones. I just want to get this other stuff in just to kind of hold everything down. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, you got custom plates. I'm jealous, dude. I mean, all my Alps builds are custom plates, so I definitely am all about that custom plate game. I feel you on that. All right, let's get this home cluster and aero cluster installed as well, and then we'll get these ones installed. And we'll do our F-row and our kind of our main cluster. We're going to use all these anyway, so perfect. Yeah, but we're going white ivory tactiles today. So these are dampened tactiles, so a really good switch. So yeah, I'm a big fan of aluminum plates, even on my MX builds. Like aluminum or steel plates are like my preferred. I know like carbon fiber or palm is also good too, but like I don't know. I'm a sucker for metal plates. That's just my personal preference. Oh, nice. All right, cool. All right, so caps lock is looking good. We got our stepped caps. All right, let's get this one going. So let's get my soldering iron out. Yeah, I feel you, man. Liking to mix it up is definitely a good strategy. I'm just a creature of habit, and I'm a simple man. If I find something I really, really like, I'm just going to keep it that way. All right, let's get these soldered in. Let's get my little vent here. Perfect. All right, let's get these switches soldered in. Perfect. Let's get a little bit. Perfect. All right, got those in. All right, let's do these other ones right here. Let's do our bottom row, get those soldered in. Perfect. Good there. Let's get this one. Awesome. Perfect. All right, now we're going to move on to our aero cluster and home cluster, and we should be pretty good. Awesome. All right, arrows are done. Now we're gonna go to our home cluster. So it should be pretty good. Perfect. All right. All right, there we go, friends. All right, so we got our arrows, we got our home cluster, we got our bottom row, we got our mods installed and going up here. So I just want to test these really quick and then move on to our F row and then kind of our main cluster of switches. So that's pretty good, looking really good. So there we go. I'm gonna go back into Vial really quick. Reprogram this damn thing. Give me a second, just reprogramming everything. All right. All right, everything looks good. Let's go into my VIA tester as well. I just like to always testing in VIA. Perfect. Cool. All of our keys are good so far. Awesome. Let's plug it back into my 8K. Awesome. So that's looking pretty good. Looking like a really, really nice assembly so far. So that's coming together very, very nice. So let's put our F row in. So we're going to do it. This is an F13 board. So we're H88 pattern on this one today. Not H87. So we're going F13. Look at that little full F13 row, folks. Look at that. All right. Perfect. All right, let's flip that over and let's get these ones soldered in. So Perfect. Let's grab my little vent here. Let's push these switches to the side. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. Coming along, friends. Hello. For those of you tuning in, thank you for coming by. This is a really cool personal build I'm doing. Awesome. Almost done with the F-row, friends. Coming along, friends. Coming along. All right. Perfect. All right, got the F-row done. This one's always weird because the poles are interesting, but we got our F-row. So look at that. It's looking like a keyboard again. Look at that, everybody. So let's just plug those in really quick and let's get that tested. Give me a second, friends. Alright, sorry. Alright, we're just loading. There we go. Awesome. So let me go into my vial really quick. Actually, we'll go to Via first. Perfect. Just double, triple checking everything. So when I use these, I want to make sure everything is good to go. Alright. Good there. I'm going to put V away. Let's go into vial really quick. I just want to check my F13 really quick. Give me a second. We're just verifying and testing everything. Perfect. All right. Everything works. All right, we're good so far. Making life pretty painless. Awesome. Look at that. So we're coming along pretty good. Look at that, everybody. So we got our main cluster coming up. So that's really nice. So I'm just going to do these keycap, these switches next to our stabilizers. And kind of do a weird way and kind of work our way in. So these switches right here are ones I've already know that work, so we shouldn't have any issues with these ones. Alright, so we're going to do these ones kind of in our main cluster, and we'll put the remaining ones in and test those. So let's get it. I'll start off, flip it around, do this way. Let's get my mouse out of the way. Alright, let's get these going. Alright, friends, let's do some soldering. Moving along. Just see that. That looks good. Let's do these other ones that are in here. Awesome. Cool. So just give me a little bit more solder to work with. All right, got those ones soldered in. Perfect. Let's put that to the side. Look at that, friends. Isn't that pretty good? Looking good. Oh no, I have a bot in my chat. Look at that. All right, there we go. All right, let me just open up my VIA again and let's just get these tested. Those are good. All right, we are good there. Awesome. So those switches are good. Now we're probably have to get into some troubleshooting because those are switches I had in a other board previously. So let's pull out some of these. So these are my white dampened tactiles. Let's fill the rest of the board in, and then we're gonna see which switches we may have to swap out. So let's see. There we go. Coming along. Oh my gosh, look at that. It looks like a keyboard again. Everybody look at that. Looks like a keyboard. Look at that. It's really nice. So nice. Alright. So everybody, let's flip it around and let's get the rest of these soldered in. So let's flip around. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see what we can do. Let me get more solder bleed. And then let's get my vent going. Perfect, friends. All right, let's solder in the rest of these switches. Almost there, friends. Cool. Right, we are done soldering those in, but we gotta test them and see if there are any switches that need to be desoldered and swapped out. So there we go. Look at that assembly right there. It's looking pretty good. All right. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we gotta swap out. Okay, W is bad. Okay, we gotta do W. That's bad. Okay. Gotta do W, it might be. It's looking like that's pretty good, actually. I think we're just gonna have to swap out one switch, W. That's pretty good, actually. It's not. It's a very low failure rate on this one. All right, so we're just gonna do W. So let me get the desoldering gun. So W right there. That's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Yeah. All right, we're going the home stretch here, everybody. We're making good time today. How fast this board came together. I mean, I've done some Alps streams for like 3 frickin' hours, so this is nice. All right. Come on, warm up, you stupid thing. There we go. We got a clog, hold up. Got some clogs in the tool, hold up. Hold up, everybody. See. Let me try that again. Hold up. Yeah, right there. A second. Just want to see if I can get that warmed up a little bit better. Hold up. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's put that to the side for right now. Let's get this switch out. Let's pull this out. Hold up. All right. Give me a second. Let's get my pliers to pull out this other part here. this switch assembly back together. Cool. All right, let me get another switch in here, and then we're going to do a test. All right, friends, let's see what we can do. Let's try this again. Wait a second. All right, let's try that again. It's just this one switch is bad. I will take. That cool. Give me a second. I gotta answer this text. Wait a minute. Nice. All right. All right. So let's just try that W again. Let me try that again. Hold up. Hold up, everybody. Yeah. All right. That's still having issues. So let's try another switch. Still having issues. It's all good. Got plenty of white dampens. Bad switch plates. It just comes down to bad switch plates, folks. So, but the rest of the switch is usually good, savable. So we'll find uses for those switches later on. All right. So let's try one to see if we can get a little bit better response on that one. Perfect. Cool. All right, let's try this again. We only have to do one switch on this one today, which is really nice. I think we're good. Just testing every single switch, making sure it's good. Perfect. All right. We are good. So I'm going to put my soldering gun away for right now. I think I'm done with that. Turn off the soldering iron. We are done soldering for this particular board. So that's nice. I'm going to put my tools to the side. I'm going to put those over here. That's those switch plates. Close up my box of switches. All the tools over here. All right, but we are good to go right there. So let's get my other items out. So we're going to put this back in the case, everybody, and we're going to get this board looking really nice and have it come together. So let me get my top case, and then let's get these tadpoles out. So we're going to get all. Perfect. So let's put our tadpoles in. And then we'll get this case assembled, and we'll get these keycaps on. We'll do a little sound test, and then we'll get on out of here. This was a very, very quick and painless Alps stream today. That green Alps build we did the other night, that was a freaking nightmare. That was so many dead switch, so many faulty switch plates on that one. That was driving me crazy. So okay, we got our tadpoles on. So let's install this in our top case. Perfect. Putting that in. Pressing everything down. Holding it all in there. Perfect. Alright, so there's our top assembly. Let's put our connect our bottom case, and then we'll screw this puppy together. Alright, let me get my screws out. Cool. Holding this case together, friends, so we're getting there. Cool. Alright, put these tools away as we're done with those, and we'll get our keycaps ready to go. Let's put our little feetsies on. Cool, and then we'll get that one. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Put my work mat to the side, and then there we go, friends. There's our built, again, board. That is really, really awesome. Perfect. All right, let's get our keycaps out. Get our main cluster of keycaps. Perfect. So let's do this. Let's get our top ones on. Perfect. Looking really good, friends. Looking really good. These keycaps are going to be fantastic. Put a tab there. Awesome. Looking really good, friends. Awesome. Loving how this board's coming out. Oh, perfect. All right, let's get our second box out. Let's get our controls. And then our alt. And then we'll do our arrow keys. Looking good, friends. And we'll do our home cluster. Get our F13 up there. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Just get my tie-how box put away and we'll do a sound test and then we're going to get on out of here, friends. That was like record time we did this board. So, alright, friends, let's take a look at this board. I think it's really beautiful. Look at that, friends. It looks fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. So, this is a Geon Works Frog TKL and it has tie-how vintage gray and white with Alps White Ivory dampened tactile. So this is a really, really cool board. I think we did this one came out fantastic. So, and I'll show you next to my other Frog TKL, but this is an 8K. So these are both of the Frog TKLs we have built. So that are part of these are part of my personal collection, and both of these boards showcase the dampened tactile, which is really nice. So these are ivory dampened tactiles. So we'll bring our microphone down just so we can kind of compare both of these because I think they're both really, really good. So here's the ivories right here on the black one. So those are the ivories. And then we'll bring out the white ivory dampened tactiles. So these are the other dampened tactiles that Alps made back in the day. Perfect. Just readjust my microphone, friends. There we go, everybody. So there we go. That is looking really good. So that's a very clean board. Look at my other camera right there. So you can really kind of see that board. That looks awesome. So got the nice frog side profile with those curves right there. So those nice frog, that nice side profile, which is great. So really good board. The back looks really, really attractive. It says Frog. On the feet it says designed by Geon Works, which is really nice. So really, really nice board. And also we have so these are my 2 Frog TKLs. We got a Frog 8K TKL. We got a Frog, just a standard Frog TKL. So 2 really cool boards. So those of you who tuned in, again, thank you so much. The VOD will be on my YouTube channel a little bit later. So links are up there, everybody. So have a great day, everyone.